First thing you need to understand about Office Romance from a promotion and pay raise perspective is that it is insidious in the way it cripples your career. You will not even see it coming, let alone understand how or why. The sooner you realize it and the more serious and urgent consideration you give it, the sooner you will be able to counter it with a fix. Therefore, the more driven you are, the more attention you need to pay to this entire Sex in the Workplace deck, because it is the only resource online that takes you by the hand and shows you all the boss problems your Office Romance inadvertently creates that make you unpromotable and unpay raisable from your boss's perspective, and then shows you how to reverse engineer the fix to each and every one of them. This is especially true if you see yourself as eligible for a promotion and a pay raise based on your pre-Office Romance credentials. You may have indeed been eligible back then, but since you became involved with your schmoopy coworker, things have changed dramatically, as this whole deck proves. Everybody knows it but you, which proves the point once again. This is true all the more so if you have already been passed over for a promotion and a pay raise and you want it to never happen again, or if you're seeking them for the first time and want to make sure your Office Romance doesn't screw up your chances. In both cases, you desperately need to watch this video. Hi, I'm the Boss Problem Buster, founder of the Pay Raise Commando, a senior organizational consultant of 24 years, having worked across cultures, industries, and ranks with 7,250 employees trained between us, my team and I. Yeah, I said it right, 7,250. I'm also a social psychologist with a master's and a bachelor's degrees, both with honors. My team and I train passed over corporate professionals like you to get that pay raise and promotion you're overdue for, so that you can finally kill your Monday blues before you seek further and bring your inner joy back, which is the best part of my job and the goal of this channel. Kill your Monday blues and bring your inner joy back. So, if you'd like to get a promotion with a pay raise, or a pay raise independent of a promotion, kill your Monday blues and bring your inner joy back, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so that we can meet again. Plus, if you'd like the full transcript of this video and all the videos on this channel, use the link in the description. It's on our website, bossproblembuster.com, because it's too long to paste here, so not a trick to get you there. But if you do hop over, you'll find many practical reads and a forum where you can discreetly and anonymously ask us anything in regards to landing a promotion and a pay raise, which we will reply to very quickly. Now, back to the salt mines. Hey Busters, welcome back. Let's go on with the mapping of the boss problems that your Office Romance creates from your boss's perspective so that you can reverse engineer the fix. The number 5 Office Romance boss problem that makes you unpromotable and unpay raisable is bypassing formal workflows and procedures. In other words, pissing your boss off even further. Why even further? Because of all the previous Office Romance boss problems you have already caused. That's why. You have not exactly ingratiated yourself on your boss, to put it mildly. And if you haven't yet watched the previous installments of this deck, they're a guaranteed eye-opener that can save your career, if I may say so myself. So you really should watch them here, and I'll put the links in the description as well. Anyway, now you're pissing your boss off even further by messing with something even more critical than all those previous Office Romance boss problems we've covered before. Why is it so critical? It is critical because formal workflows and procedures are the fundamentals of your team's performance, and through a domino effect, also your boss's performance, his boss's performance, and so on. In other words, formal workflows and procedures are the infrastructure of the effectiveness and efficiency of your team or department and the company as a whole. Therefore, when you bypass them, you compromise that effectiveness and efficiency, which pisses your boss off with you. So it is easy to see how this would indeed further escalate your already problematic, not to say negative, standing with your boss. Now, you're probably wondering, or maybe even getting angry with me, thinking, what does my office romance have to do with formal workflows and procedures? They are two completely different things. Well, they are completely different, but they are also interdependent in ways most employees don't really realize. Let me give you an example that will make this crystal clear so that you can reverse engineer the fix from it. First, we need to set up the backdrop for the example. Suppose you and your schmoopy are working in adjacent teams or departments that are internal customers of one another. By the way, this scenario is, if you were wondering, consistent with the premise that you lovebirds are co-workers. There are many organizational situations in which you structurally belong to different teams, but in practice work closely together on a daily basis. So, on with the setup. As internal customers of one another, your two teams have daily communications to exchange information and agree on solutions for the frictions and problems that come up. To support this, there's an infrastructure in place of two kinds. A physical infrastructure in the form of computers, landlines, and so forth, and an operational and administrative infrastructure in the form of formal workflows and procedures. Who does what, when, where, and why? Maybe there's even a designated coordinator to oversee this daily exchange. So far, so good. That's a normal organizational reality that we are all familiar with. But here's where the plot thickens insidiously against you. Which brings us to the example itself. When these internal customer teams have two schmoopies, such as yourselves, one on each team, both teams grow accustomed to relaying issues and solving frictions through your romantic relationship instead of through the formal workflows and procedures. How so? Here's how. Say Jim on the one team and Bob on the other have some professional friction. The formal workflows and procedures direct discussing it in the next mutual meeting or through the designated coordinator if one exists. Pretty straightforward, but that's not what happens in practice. In practice, Jim, who's on your team, comes by your cubicle one day and says, "Hey, listen, I have this situation with Bob. Could you talk to your schmoopy on the other team and help me smooth it out? It's really delaying my project and I know they are friends, so could you?" Now, you being the good, helpful teammate you are, say, "Sure." And you broker the situation through your schmoopy and succeed. So great, right? Well, yes and no. Great in the short run, problematic in the long run. In the short run, of course that's the right thing to do. Why wouldn't you to help your teammates? You would be assholes not to try. Of course you should. Plus, it will be a positive in your boss's mind in regards to your interpersonal abilities, thus promoting your chances for a pay raise and a promotion. The problem lies in the long run, when this can totally flip over and hinder your chances. This video is about making you aware of exactly this danger in terms of how your boss sees it in this context, so you can mitigate it to prevent such hindrance to your chances of getting that promotion and or pay raise you want. Plus, when you understand this danger, you can reverse engineer a fix, which we will do together on the last installment of this deck. So, what is this danger? Well, what started as an occasional gesture will gradually progress to a shortcut of convenience and will end up as a permanent, informal workflow. The longer you are together as a couple and on the same teams respectively, the more this informal workflow will become anchored to the point of becoming a non-official, non-formal procedure that unintentionally replaces the formal one. And if someone on either team doesn't like the formally designated coordinator, if one exists, then all the more so. Who needs them when they can just come to you schmoopies instead? Moreover, when a new teammate comes on board, they will be sure this informal workflow is the formal workflow and that you are the designated coordinator because they will have never seen anything else. Thus, the more time passes, the more entrenched this counterproductive process is. I've seen it happen time and time again, and not necessarily with lovers, but with two employees, one on each team, who are just good friends, or not even that, but just have an amicable relationship with one another across the aisle, whereas the rest of their teammates, less so. Because why bother with the hassle of formal workflows and procedures, such as scheduling a meeting, which of course has to fit everybody's schedules, which is really hard to do. And why bother with waiting the entire week, for example, for that scheduled meeting when we can just ask one schmoopie to talk to the other schmoopie and resolve it on the spot? So it's very easy to understand how this happens. Still, in the long run, it does constitute bypassing of formal workflows and procedures through your office romance, which this boss problem number 5, this video, is all about. Thus, in the long run, it will compromise both your team's effectiveness and efficiency, which will piss your boss off, which will make you further unpromotable and unpay-raisable because your office romance is the epicenter of the whole thing. Now, 2 important notes. 1, don't throw the baby with the bathwater. Again, you should absolutely help your teammates out whenever you can. I'm just showing you how too much of a good thing can become a bad thing in the long run, which is true everywhere else in life too. 2, have nuance. I'm not saying never take on any extracurricular responsibility. That would be stupid. Sometimes doing exactly that is the best thing you can do for yourself. Speaking from an office politics perspective. How so? Well, you make everybody dependent on you, which raises your value, which will contribute to your chances for a promotion and a pay raise. Other times, though, it might hinder your chances, at least for a promotion that would transfer you outside of your boss's team or department, because what boss would like to give up on such a tentpole employee? But you may still get a pay raise that is independent of such a promotion, so not all is lost. Thus, it can roll both ways, and you should consider the yes-no danger on a case-by-case basis. Anyway, this is not the focus on this video, just wanted to point it out for you. Okay, let's put it all together so that we have the full picture. 4 points here. We've seen how your office romance unintentionally causes the bypassing of formal workflows and procedures, especially in the long run. And we've said that this bypass compromises the effectiveness and efficiency of your team, and through a domino effect, also your boss's effectiveness and efficiency, his boss's effectiveness and efficiency, and so on, which would naturally piss your boss off with you and would indeed make you unpromotable and unpay-raisable. So now, the final piece of the puzzle we have to put in place to get the full picture is, why exactly does the effectiveness and efficiency of your team get compromised when your office romance inadvertently allows for the bypassing of formal workflows and procedures? What's the big deal? Yeah, we've said those formal workflows and procedures are the infrastructure of effectiveness and efficiency. So obviously, if you compromise one, you compromise the other. But why? This is not an academic issue. It is a very practical and pragmatic one. If you know why, you then can have a clear roadmap on which to base your reverse engineering of the fix, which is the end goal of everything we're doing here. So here's the why from your boss's point of view. 3 issues. 1, using slang instead of the official language. Formal workflows and procedures are the equivalent of a common language shared within and between teams at a company. Bypassing them through the use of informal workflows and procedures is the equivalent of using slang or urban idioms, i.e. the diametrical opposite of a common language shared and understood by all. This gives way to miscommunications and misunderstandings, which result in increasing frictions and tensions, which result in compromised effectiveness and efficiency. 2, only schmoopy instead of just anyone. Formal workflows and procedures are impersonal by design. That's their whole point. They are not designated or dependent on this specific employee or that specific employee. Rather, they apply to all and need to be adhered by all. But the situation your office romance creates, as we've seen in the example earlier, is the epitome of personal. Only you two schmoopies can perform this informal go-between position you inadvertently took upon yourself, i.e. the diametrically opposite of impersonal as it should be. This gives way to a counterproductive dependency on you two lovebirds personally, and this once again results in a compromised effectiveness and efficiency. How simple! You may not be available anymore, in which case the informal workflows and procedures will be broken, and it would take time and effort on your boss's part to reconstruct the whole thing, meaning to enforce the original formal workflows and procedures you helped bypass. Why may you not be available anymore? One of you or both? Well, you may very well grow sick of this extracurricular activity. After all, the longer you do it, the more of a hassle it becomes. Also, it's not like you're being paid for it, and this would be amplified since it may conflict with your own real work and responsibilities, or one of you may leave or be fired. Then what? The third reason, and last, why bypassing the formal workflows and procedures compromises effectiveness and efficiency, which then pisses your boss off, making you yet again unpromotable and unpay raisable, and that is masking the formal with the informal. Effectiveness and efficiency necessitate all formal workflows and procedures be known to everybody involved, established, followed, and monitored in order to update them as needed. However, your office romance made all of the above impossible. When everybody goes by the informal, then nobody is using the formal, which makes it completely masked over. So not known by everybody involved because it was never used, therefore it was never established, therefore it was never followed, therefore it cannot be monitored. There's nothing there. No wonder your boss is pissed off with you. I'm surprised you still have a job. So how do you climb out of this hole you dug for yourself and make yourself eligible again for that promotion and or pay raise you so want? The answer is twofold. First, you need to be fully versed in all the office romance boss problems you are inadvertently causing and understand how they are making your boss see you in a more and more unfavorable manner, which all put together severely hinders your chances. How do you do that? By carefully and diligently studying this entire sex and the workplace deck. Then, and only then, once you have the full picture of the hole you're in, we will dig your way out of it together. I'll be seeing you next time then. Meanwhile, get back to work. You know I can't help you get that promotion and pay raise if you don't actually do the job.